Hey Virgo, what's going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we are going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. We have officially entered into Cancer season. Cancer, and we had a new moon in Cancer beginning of the week. So new moon, new vibes. Great time to set new intentions, to kind of evaluate whatever you have going on in your life and see if anything needs some changing and adjusting. There's definitely a theme of change in the collective. A lot's happening without us even having to make any efforts to figure out what we need to change. But it's that value of, just kind of being honest with yourself, being authentic with yourself. Cancer energy is all about nurture, love, support, what makes us feel safe and stable in this life. And it's so important to connect with those energies, especially when we are dealing with the harder things in life, the places that there are challenges or mountains to overcome, because we need to be able to trust, rely on our instincts, on our intuition, as well as see clearly what is happening in front of us. It's definitely that Saturn and Neptune in Aries energy, forcing us to maybe read between the lines in certain situations, certain dynamics that aren't always easy. And it is a little bit of a challenge. We're coming up next month, July. There's going to be a lot of retrogrades. 4 planets go into retrograde. And so it's this value of getting clear about how we want things to pan out, so to speak, so that we're not missing the mark or choosing things that don't align with that is probably a better way to say it. That's also why I like to start off our readings with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, obstacles, limitations that we might be coming into. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, Virgo, especially if you have something on your heart, on your mind, something that you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you would like me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just interested in a realignment of self, mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we are grounded in self, when we know who we are, what we want, when we're supporting ourselves, that's really where we're manifesting happiness, abundance, fulfillment from. And I would love to help support you in that, in whatever way that looks for you. Definitely hit me up, Virgo. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama love. All right, Virgo. So I'm hearing like you are watching someone or something, like you're watching a person, a situation, how it unfolds, what are the, not repercussions, but it feels like, I don't know, like maybe you're hesitant about someone, but I don't know. There's not enough information. That's what I'm hearing. And I feel like that's kind of why you're waiting, watching on the sidelines. It does look like this is a blessing. Maybe this is something that you were kind of cast off or, put into a box, so to speak. Fire sign. You might have some fire energy in your chart or dealing with a fire sign. Fire can be a pretty intense energy, can be a pretty overwhelming energy at times as well. And it's definitely very different from earth energy. Let's put it at that, right? It looks like kind of here's the thing, I'm hearing like drawing on all the elements to like make practical decisions, because at the end of the day, your energy feels like, as much as maybe you're hesitant or wanting a little more truth to be revealed around something or someone, you don't want to just throw in the towel, or you don't want to just make accusations that aren't really true, because one minute it feels like this, the next minute it feels like something else. Okay, there's that air sign. So this really is what I love about air energy for you, and specifically in this dynamic, is it is about making that pros and cons list. And sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to remove the emotion from it and really just kind of be able to decipher, like, is this serving me? Is this something that like is actually like good and what I want to have in my life, or is this not, right? Because it does kind of look like something has fallen apart, or I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't think it's like fallen apart, but I do think there's definitely been a disconnect. I feel like there's definitely been, shattering feels like a strong word, but there's been some breakage. There's been some breakage in a situation, in a dynamic that either once felt whole, or it hasn't really been infiltrated in this way type thing. It's new territory for everybody. New territory in a way that like it could have been, it could have led to a breakup. I don't know if I necessarily see this. Maybe there's some type of discussion of exits on the table, something that kind of has made a situation really difficult, and like I said, put it into new territory. And there's also a lot up in the air is what I'm seeing. There's a lot of ambiguity in this dynamic. Someone is still figuring themselves out, and that is where the difficulty is coming into play, because I feel like a situation dynamic is being held up. I don't necessarily feel like you think you're doing it. I think you're trying to figure out what is the smartest approach. Like, to me, with this air energy, Virgo, you're taking inventory, right? Again, kind of as I was saying in the very beginning, taking inventory, really weighing out the pros and cons of each facet, each piece of the situation, because it does kind of have to be scrutinized to see if like whatever you're fighting for is worth it. What I do like for you is it does look like you have a little bit of a break coming up that I think is going to help. I think it's going to be well-deserved. Cancer also had that. Actually, I think Leo, all three of you guys had that energy. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, this energy of taking a break. To me, this feels like you need this because you are definitely in decision mode. You're definitely in decision mode, and it does look like you're having a difference of opinion than someone. It does look like there is some fighting. There is some defending of the territory. It went from something good to something not so good, you know? And I don't know if this is like once the honeymoon phase wore off, and this doesn't just have to be romantic. You could be dealing with a romantic relationship, but this can also be a business partner, a friend, family member, etc. Take it how it resonates. But it definitely looks like there was a difference of opinion, and it went from like, it was something you guys were on the same page about, hook, line, and sinker, and then something happened to really disrupt that. And even to the point that like, I don't know, this does feel like an energy or something that you're dealing with is a little bit vicious or territorial or on the defensive. Maybe it just caused a lot of drama, right? Like it just made things difficult. And you're kind of at this point, I like this 8 of Cups energy where you're not choosing to participate in the fighting as much anymore. Whatever this dance has been, whatever this disagreement has been, you're like, you are really trying to whatever capacity, rise above and figure out again, what's the best solution? What's the best steps forward? There is like some residual stuff here though at the same time, and I feel like that's kind of what's infiltrating. Residual cleanup from past experiences where everyone, like, and we've kind of been seeing this has been a theme this week. It's like everybody has a perspective, an opinion, and it's not necessarily on the same page. And I'm saying that specifically because it's like you're really trying to put to rest things that aren't serving you, toxicities, thoughts, patterns, people that are draining your energy, etc. But you have a lot on your plate. You're really stressed out. And actually, like, it almost feels like what you're trying to rid yourself of is part of the stressor. Like, maybe you're trying to force yourself not to think, feel a certain thing. And that in and of itself is putting more stress on the dynamic. I mean, it just looks like things are a little bit messy for this week, but there are things that are on the horizon that I feel like are going to be therapeutic for you, therapeutic for the situation, for your mind, body, soul, where you can kind of just take a break from the grunt and grind, take a break from the places where there have been difficulties. I don't know. Someone's just like not really willing to budge. I don't know. And I'm sorry for this for you, Virgo, because it does really look like, again, that value of it's creating a divide. It has created a divide. It has created a divide. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're breaking up. Maybe it's just like we're not getting along and we're not speaking and it's awkward when we see each other or whatever, you know? But sometimes that's okay too, right? Like we put a lot of pressure on relationships to figure themselves out right off the bat. And here's the thing, it's showing for you to like take your time because you are trying to, again, approach it from that perspective of what makes the most sense. But let's remember, like, emotions don't necessarily make sense, and they're a really good guidance system for when something is off. And I'm saying that specifically because I feel like don't invalidate yourself. Don't force yourself to think, feel something that's just not true. That's just not there. I think it's going to be easier said than done. But I'm also seeing that like when you're able to have this disconnect, when you're able to take a break, it's going to get better, right? Right now, it's just a little bit sticky. It's just a little bit messy. And everyone maybe needs a little bit of space. Yeah. Because this is something, especially if this is a long-term relationship, someone you have to be around, someone you're engaging with on a regular basis, etc. This is something that has to be sorted because it does kind of look like whatever the difference of opinion is might be a little bit swept under the rug. Not everybody's vibing in the same energy. Not everybody's getting it. Not everyone's really working together. There are some like, okay, let's start fresh, or let's just let bygones be bygones and move forward. But it's not necessarily taking care of the problem. And that's where I would be really cautious, the 6 of Wands devil energy. Because as much as you're like agreeing to this partnership, this dynamic, making peace, whatever that looks like, there's also this underlying, well, I'm going to do what's best for me. And they're thinking the same thing, you know? And again, not tit for tat. It just looks like this is a difficult situation, experience to find balance within. And remember, not everything is sorted out yet. Not everyone is clear yet. And so a lot of times when we're in this space, we just have to let things be and take the time that they need. I was born to reveal myself. My desires, cravings, emotions, happiness are a part of my revealing process. I let everything be and I allow myself to unfold. Truth is beyond my beliefs. When I analyze everything in my mind, I lose the connection with myself. I just let everything go and then the truth appears in front of me. And this again is just confirming, like, be honest with yourself about what your emotions and feelings are. That is part of revealing who you are. And as you're allowed to see who you are, to see how things are affecting you, to see what you need, it makes it easier to connect with the truth when we let it go. We don't have to analyze everything in our mind. We don't have to judge our emotions, our feelings as right, wrong, good, bad. They're just valid, right? We can validate them and still understand that it's not necessarily the truth, right? Truth can be beyond. Actually, we got this today in the dailies. It was all about like not letting confusion and illusion take root. And honestly, the mind is so great at doing that. It's so great into tricking us into worst case scenario, things that we don't really, whatever, like things that aren't. Could they happen? Sure. Will they? Meh, probably not. That type of thing. I avoid judging myself. I love this. Judgments inside my mind are just opinions and distorted views of reality. I look at everything I have learned objectively. I work within myself to become more present and aware. This way, self-judgment will disappear, right? So be kind to yourself. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Whatever you are trying to walk away from, good for you. Give yourself that credit, but don't judge yourself for what you think, what you feel, who you are, right? The beautiful person that you are. I know that's easier said than done, especially when we're being met with some level of resistance or someone doesn't really understand who we are or they're still trying to figure themselves out, right? It's not easy. It's the dance of relationships. But I love that you are honoring yourself through this process, Virgo. And I hope this reading helped. Like, thank you so much for your time, energy always. I do hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.